All right, welcome to Next Gen Manufacturing. Now, I want you to forget everything you think you know about a machine shop. You know, the old stereotypes. Today, we're going to lay out a completely modern blueprint for a career that's not just about clocking in and out. It's about creating, it's about innovating. So let's dive right in.
So let me ask you something. Is machining just a job? I mean, really, when you hear that word, what pops into your head? For a lot of folks, it's just a trade, right? A series of mechanical tasks. But honestly, that view is, well, it's totally outdated.
Because what if we flip that idea on its head? What if machining isn't just a job, but a license to create anything? I mean, think about it. The power to take a raw chunk of material and turn it into a solution, a cool product, or hey, even a piece of art. That's the mindset we're going to get into today.
Okay, so where do you even start? Let's get into the first part of our blueprint, laying the foundation. This is all about how you can break into the industry and get your foot in the door of the modern manufacturing world.
You know, just take a look at Eddie Casanueva's story. He didn't show up with some fancy degree or a ton of experience. He literally started by sweeping floors. But here's the kicker. He was curious, relentlessly curious. He just kept asking questions, soaking it all in, and he turned that minimum wage job into the very first step of a real career.
And Eddie's story, it really drives home a key point here. The barrier to entry is surprisingly low. You don't always need a four-year degree. A lot of machinists get their start right after high school. The industry is absolutely hungry for new talent, so for anyone with that drive, the door is wide open.
So just how big is this opportunity we're talking about? Get this. The Bureau of Labor Statistics saw a need for an extra 29,000 skilled machinists by 2024. 29,000! That is a huge demand for people who can, literally build the future.
And check this out. Here's why that number is so big. Almost 70% of the current machinist workforce is over the age of 45. Think about that. An entire generation of incredible skill is getting ready to retire, and that's creating this massive talent gap. So this isn't just about backfilling jobs. No way. It's a golden opportunity for a new generation, for new ideas and fresh innovation to come in and totally redefine this industry. The opportunity isn't on the horizon, folks. It's right here, right now.
So, you made it. You're in the door. Now what? Well, now it's time for part 2 of our blueprint, Mastering the Craft. This is where you go from just being an apprentice to becoming a true artist of precision.
Let me paint a picture for you. You're out in the middle of nowhere, maybe working on your bike after dark, and the one thing you absolutely need, your flashlight, just breaks. What do?
And this isn't just some made-up scenario. This actually happened to Jeff Sapp, the guy behind Okluma. He thought he bought a decent flashlight, and it failed on him when he needed it the most. He was just so frustrated with a product that was basically designed to be thrown away.
And this, right here, is where that machinist mindset really kicks in. Jeff didn't just go buy another flashlight. Nope. He went home, fired up his machines, and built a better one from scratch. One that he knew would never let him down. That's what it's all about, turning a problem into a product.
But making something truly great takes an incredible amounts of precision. And according to Madsen of M5 Micro, it really all comes down to patience. You have to be willing to invest time in the setup to really know your machine inside and out. I mean, we're talking about tolerances that are thinner than a human hair, where one tiny little mistake can turn an entire project into a piece of scrap metal.
And a huge part of that precision comes from the tools you use. Look, it's always tempting to try and save a few bucks on cheaper tooling, but that's a classic mistake. Sure, the initial cost is lower, but the results are all over the place. You end up wasting so much time and money on scrapped parts. Quality tooling? Yeah, it costs more upfront, but it pays for itself with results that are consistent and reliable every single time.
It's just like manufacturing engineer Grant Houston says, quality tooling is all about reliability. It's about knowing you're going to get the same performance every single time. And here's the bottom line. Investing in quality tools isn't a cost. It's an investment in your own efficiency and ultimately your profit.
So once you've really started to master your craft, a whole new door swings open. The chance to turn your skills into a full-blown business. And that brings us to the third part of our blueprint, building the enterprise. Now let's be super clear about this. This is where the real grind begins. Becoming an entrepreneur in this industry is not for the faint of heart. It takes a level of dedication that goes way, way beyond just being good with a machine.
Josh from Fleet Machine Co. just nails it here. You have to be ready to make sacrifices.
The brothers who started Master Machine Manufacturing, they talk about working until 2, sometimes 3 in the morning, long after their families went to bed. I mean, that is the level of commitment we're talking about.
So what does it really take? Well, it pretty much boils down to 3 core pillars. First, you've got to master your craft. That's just non-negotiable. Second, you have to build your brand so people actually know who you are and what you stand for. And third, you have to put your customers at the very center of everything you do.
You know, a massive part of building a brand these days is social media. Jeff from Okluma, remember the flashlight guy we talked about? He gets a ton of his sales directly from platforms like Instagram. It's just such a powerful tool for showing off your work and connecting directly with your customers.
And finally, we've got a principle that's just timeless. As Brian Ross from Form Factory points out, your reputation is absolutely everything. If you treat people with respect and you deliver on your promises, your customers won't just come back, they'll tell their friends. Let's be honest, good service is the best marketing you can possibly have.
Okay, we've covered getting in the door, we've covered mastering the craft, and we've covered building a business. But there is one final overarching principle that ties this entire thing together. It's the master key to unlocking all of your future growth.
This advice from Seth Matador, this might be the single most important thing you hear today. Don't stop learning. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. I mean, wow. The second you think you've got it all figured out is the exact moment you stop getting better. The best of the best in this field, they're always students.
To put it another way, just stay humble. That veteran machinist over in the corner of the shop, he's probably forgotten more than you or I will ever learn. Seriously. So listen to those veterans, absorb every bit of wisdom you can, and yeah, own your mistakes. That is how you go from being good to being a master.
So there it is, a blueprint for a career in next-generation manufacturing. From getting your foot in the door all the way to building your own enterprise. The path is laid out, the opportunity is absolutely massive, and the tools are waiting. So the only question left is, what are you going to build?